Depending on what the issues are. Okay, who's handling the Franco Andrews matter?
I am, Your Honor.
All right. This is cause number 2021-00-792 in the interest of Rosabella Leanne Andrews. All parties, please raise your right hand to be sworn. Parties and witnesses. You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, I do.
All right, ma'am, please state your name and your relationship to the child.
Trinity Andrews, and I'm the mother of Rosabella.
And representing the state.
Marcella Turner.
Court will note that the non-custodial parent is Anthony Louis Franco. Mr. Franco was personally served on March 17th, 2021 at 2:45 p.m. at 202 East 31st and a half Street in Houston, Harris County, Texas. He's not filed an answer. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
And this is a no answer default?
Yes, it is, Your Honor. And the state would just like to offer for the record that Mr. Franco did appear today. He did check in and he requested DNA testing. And once that DNA testing order was prepared, which he was asked not to log off until he signed the DNA testing order, he logged off still, and we attempted to contact him several times by phone. The custodial parent, Ms. Andrews, also sent him a text message and called him, at which point he stated to her he would talk to her later. And we had the coordinator call him as well to ask him to log back in to sign the DNA order, which he has refused to do so. And so the state is asking to proceed forward on a default basis.
All right, so he appeared earlier and left on his own volition. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
So we'll proceed by default.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, the state would like to call Ms. Andrews. Ms. Andrews, how old is the child before the court today?
She is 14 months.
And at the time of her conception, were you married?
No.
And were you sexually involved with anyone else other than Mr. Franco?
No, ma'am.
And are you currently married?
No, ma'am.
And is there any possibility that anyone else other than Mr. Franco could be the father of Rosabella Andrews?
No, ma'am.
And are you asking this court to establish the fact that Mr. Franco is in fact the legal and biological father of Rosabella?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you asking this court to order that Rosabella's last name remain as Andrews?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you asking this court to appoint both you and Mr. Franco as joint managing conservators and designate you as the conservator who determines the child's primary residence within Harris or any of the surrounding counties?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you asking this court to enter a modified possession and access schedule? And once that is completed, for the visitation schedule to revert to the standard possession and access schedule?
Yes, ma'am.
And to your knowledge, does Mr. Franco have any other children under 18 other than your child?
Yes, ma'am.
And how is this child covered for medical and dental insurance?
Medicaid?
And do you have any information regarding Mr. Franco's income?
No.
Do you know whether or not Mr. Franco is employed?
No.
And are you asking this court to enter a cash medical support amount in the amount of $75 beginning July 1st of 2021?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Yes. Oh, yes, ma'am.
And are you asking this court to enter current child support in the amount of $430 beginning July 1st of 2021?
Yes, ma'am.
And since your daughter's birth, has Mr. Franco provided financially for this child?
No, ma'am.
And have you and Mr. Franco lived together since your daughter's birth?
No, ma'am.
Are you asking this court to enter a retroactive child support judgment in the amount of $3,270 as of today's date, June 29th, 2021, and order Mr. Franco to pay $65 on that judgment beginning July 1st of 2021?
Yes, ma'am.
And you are not seeking retroactive medical or dental support at this time, is that also correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you believe this order to be in the best interest of your daughter?
Yes.
And are you asking this court to approve this default?
Yes, ma'am.
No further questions for this witness. I'll pass the witness.
All right, call your next witness.
At this time, the state would like to call Mr. Arnold Barrera. Mr. Barrera, where do you currently work and how long have you worked there?
I work at the Office of the Attorney General, and I've worked for 15 years.
And what is the title of your position and what do your job duties entail?
I'm a child support officer, and the duties entail conducting investigations on calculating child support and retroactive child support.
And have you received special training in order to do those investigations?
Yes, I have.
And did you investigate Mr. Franco's gross monthly resources today?
Yes, I have.
And what did you find his gross monthly income to be?
$2,600.
And based off of that gross monthly income and the cash medical amount, what did you find the guideline child support amount to be?
Guideline child support amount should be $430.
And did you conduct an investigation in regards to Mr. Franco's income during the retroactive time frame as well?
Yes, I have.
And based off of that information, what did you find the retroactive judgment to be for that time frame from April 11th of 2020 through June 29th of 2021?
The retro judgment should be $3,270.
No further questions for this witness. I'll pass the witness. Hello? Oh, Judge, you're muted.
Hold on.
You're on mute.
Okay, Miss Andrews, do you have any questions of Mr. Barrera?
No, sir.
All right, the court will approve the order as submitted. Thank you very much. You're excused.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, who's handling the Kenny Lawal matter?
I am, Your Honor, Attorney Turner.
Can we get all parties to
Everyone.
unmute themselves, please?
And cut on your camera, please. Ms. Andrews, you can disconnect from the Zoom meeting. Ms. Lawal, could you unmute and turn on your camera? Mr. Lawal, could you unmute and turn on your camera? And Mr. Keeney, could you turn on your camera as well?
Yes, ma'am. Hold on one second.
Ms. Lawal and Mr. Lawal, could you please cut on your cameras and leave your mic unmuted? Please do not mute yourself back.
I was trying
And
to cut my camera on. Sorry.
That's okay. And Mr. Lawal keeps muting.
Yeah, I have to go into my settings. My camera won't let me turn on. 1 second, please.
There's Miss Lawal. We can see you. All right. Mr. Lawal.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. How do you turn that? Hold on a second. My phone's acting up. I have to go into my deal. Hold on one second. It won't let me do it for some reason.
Ms. Turner, who is Hafiz Lawal?
That is the presumed father. I believe he is having some difficulties operating Zoom. It was a bit of a process to get him to log in over here. He's simply here for the DNA portion, and then I'll ask the court to excuse him. Mr. Lawal, please unmute yourself again.
There we go. We got Michael. Kennedy. We got Michael Kenny, I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. I apologize for that.
That's quite all right. And Mr. Lawal, please unmute yourself. Well, as a pretrial this matter, what are we doing today, Ms. Turner? What's this about?
Your Honor, Mr. Keeney has requested an additional reset regarding this case, asking to hire an attorney, for time to hire an attorney. However, the state is opposed to this case being reset any further, as the first appearance by all parties was made in January of 2021 this year. And additionally, there was another setting in April of this year where Mr. Keeney appeared as well. And he's, according from the state's position, is that he's had plenty of time and ample opportunity to hire an attorney regarding this matter. And we are ready to proceed forward in this matter. He's been given several opportunities to ask for time to hire counsel. He has not at any point indicated that he wanted to do so until it came time to proceed with trial today. And we would like to move forward.
All right, Mr. Kenny. Mr. Kenny, you've had ample time to hire an attorney. Can you hear me, Mr. Kenny?
Yes, sir.
You have had ample time to hire an attorney. You know, this matter's been sitting here since May of 2020.
My only request is, because I'm starting a new job next month. It's a 6-week, 7-day off rotation. And the CSO explained to me the different terms, the modified, and I forget the term for the other one, visitation. And it's impossible for me to do either one because I'll be on the road 6 weeks and home for 7 days continuously. So I was gonna see if I can contact attorney at this time, because I didn't know any of this before, because DNA tests and all that wasn't done yet. So, but if not, I'm not trying to be in trouble or be a pain in the butt. If not, I completely understand. I was just hoping to see if there's any other way around, someone.
Okay, so is the issue possession and access, Ms. Turner?
The issue, from my understanding, it is possession and access, but not whether or not he should have possession and access. Just he's wanting something more crafted towards his work schedule. But I would like to remind the court that Mr. Keeney lives out of state in New York, and so essentially he's going to have to deal with some different terms of visitation, irregardless of whether or not he has an attorney or not. They don't live in the same state.
I live in Katy, Texas now, man. I moved back here in April.
Oh, you moved back. Okay.
Yes. My address is in Katy, Texas.
Even more so, Your Honor, in regards to the visitation, the possession and access, I mean, there is already a presumed what's to be in the best interest of the children based under the family code. There is a possession and access schedule that is afforded to parties when they cannot agree. And so we would like to try that matter as opposed to resetting this case simply to come right back to where we are right now.
Yeah, we can't, Mr. Kenny, it would be awfully difficult to if everybody had certain work schedules to work around those. We have a standard possession order. If a person has a different work schedule and then leaves that job, then what do we do? Change it again? We've got a standard possession schedule. Uh, uh, and just out of curiosity, do you and Miss Lawal get along?
We haven't spoken since February 2020. I've reached out multiple times, but to no response.
All right, so there probably wouldn't be an agreement as to something different than what the standard possession order would be. Is that correct, Ms. Lawal?
That's correct.
All right. Uh, I don't know there isn't any way that I can work around.
My question would be, would I be looked at as a negative way if the modified, as she's proposing, is put forward and signed by you, but I physically can't see her on that modified schedule? I'd be looked at in dim light.
Well, no, you'd have to somehow comply with that modified schedule. I think the best solution here might be, and is the presumed father still here, Mr. Lawal?
Yes,
He's
he
he's
is.
muted. He's muted. Are you here, Mr.
Yep.
Lawal?
Yes, I am.
All right, let's enter some temporary orders establishing the parent-child relationship. That way, Mr. Lawal can then be out of the picture, and and we can refer to the 245th District Court and order some DRO mediation. See if we can't come to some agreement.
Okay, thank you, Your
All right,
Honor.
so Mr. Kenny, I'm going to enter some temporary orders, but you'll have, and then this will not be the final orders. I'll enter some temporary orders. You'll have an opportunity to get an attorney if you wish. I'm going to order some domestic relations office mediation on this matter, see if you can't mediate and resolve this problem. And then you'll have a final hearing in the district court.
Yes, sir.
All right. Do we have any, at this point, without addressing, I suppose, possession and access, we can just establish the parent-child relationship and the conservatorship.
Well, Your Honor, I guess the state, if it's being referred to district, we would just seek to establish the parent-child relationship, so Mr. Lawal would not have to continue to appear. But my understanding is that the parties can't seem to agree on anything else as well, so.
Well, that's why we're going to, yes, let's go ahead and excuse Mr. Lawal. Let's establish a parent-child relationship. Excuse Mr. Lawal, refer it to the district court and order mediation.
Okay,
All
thank
right?
you, Your Honor. Thank you. Parties, Mr. Lawal and Ms. Lawal and Mr. Keeney, could you sign back into the other Zoom so we can take care of that order for you?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right.
May I be excused, Your Honor?
Yes, ma'am. Who's handling
Thank
the Joseph matter?
That would be me, Your Honor.
Okay. So I'm not
Maybe
gonna
can you
have to-
unmute yourself and turn your camera on, please?
All right, this call number 2021-11291 in the interest of Niari Joseph. All parties, please raise your right hands to be sworn. And witnesses, do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Yes, I do.
All right, ma'am, please state your name and your relationship to the child.
My name is Cynthia Spivey. I am the mother of Miari Joseph.
All right. And for the representing the state,
Kavita Sharma for the state, Your Honor.
court will note that Nathaniel Ethan Joseph II signed a waiver of service on March 5th, 2021. And he was given further notice of this hearing. Well, notice was attempted by certified mail, but it was not delivered. My understanding. It
Your
looks
Honor.
like, yes.
That is correct, Your Honor. It says it was left, but with not a person. So I'm not quite sure what the USPS means by that, but it was attempted.
All right, then the further notice of the Zoom hearing was attempted by certified mail return receipt requested, but it was not notice left, but there was no authorized recipient available. Okay. So let's proceed by default.
Yes, Your Honor. The state would like to call Santia Spivey.
Okay.
Ms. Spivey, how old is your child?
6 months?
At the time of conception, were you married?
No,
Did you have sexual relations with anyone else who could be the father of the child?
no,
Is anyone else the father of the child besides Mr. Daniel Joseph?
no,
Are you currently married?
no.
And are you asking the court to establish Mr. Nathaniel Joseph as the father of the child?
Yes,
Are you asking the court to leave the last name as Joseph?
yes,
Okay, and are you asking the court to order you and Mr. Joseph as managing conservators of the child, with you determining the child's primary residence with no geographic restrictions as possessory parent?
yes,
Are you asking the court to order 18 supervised periods of access with Mr. Joseph?
yes.
After those 18 periods have passed, are you asking the court to revert to the standard possession order?
I believe so.
After the child is 18, are you agreeing to the standard possession order that we discussed the first, third, and fifth weekend of the month?
Yes.
Okay, Miss Spivey, do you understand that that's what the order says?
Which part of that?
After Mr. Joseph
Oh,
completes
after she's free.
yes, after he completes all of the modified visitations, then it reverts to a standard possession order. Do you understand that?
I do.
Okay. You might not ask if they're asking to do that. Then you might ask if they understand that that's what the order says. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor. I will make note of that. Miss Vivi, how is your child covered under health insurance?
With Medicaid, Medicare.
Okay, do you have access to private health insurance for your child?
Meaning like through my job?
Correct.
I believe not yet. I believe I can.
Okay. Is Mr. Joseph employed?
What was that?
Is Mr. Joseph employed?
Yes.
Do you know the name of the company he works for?
Flavor Restaurant,
Okay,
Bar and Grill, I think.
okay. State would like to pass this witness for further recall and call Mr. Arnold Barrera.
All right. Go
Mr.
ahead.
Barrera, where are you employed
The Office of the Attorney General,
and what is your position there?
Child Support Officer,
What is the nature and responsibilities of your duties as a child support officer?
conduct investigations on calculating child support and retroactive child support.
And have you received any special training to calculate child support in compliance with the Texas Family Code?
Yes, I have.
And have you calculated child support in this matter?
Yes.
What is your findings for child support guidelines?
For child support guidelines based on monthly gross income of $2,535, net income of $2,064.96. With no additional children, his child support amount would be $413 a month, with medical support being $114 per month.
Your Honor, I pass this witness. No further questions.
But you might want to establish when the separation was or what your parameters are for your retroactive child support. Because there is an amount in here. I don't know how that was determined. So call your witness and find out about whether the father has contributed or whether they live together or when they separated. You know, do you understand what I'm saying?
I do, Your Honor.
Okay.
State would like to call Ms. Santia.
Give it here. Yes.
Ms. Spivey, have you and Mr. Joseph ever lived together?
We stopped living together in the middle of last year, around July or August.
That was prior to your child being born?
It was.
During the time the
Well,
child
wait.
has been,
Okay, go ahead.
and since the child has been born, has Mr. Spivey contributed any support to your daughter?
Mr. Joseph has given her a few gifts, a few things, a few, you know.
And you've determined the amount of that support was $150?
About, yes, ma'am.
And we gave him credit for that $150 from the retroactive child support for the last 7 months, correct?
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, recall Mr. Barrera.
Mr. Barrera, State would like to recall Mr. Barrera.
All right.
Mr. Barrera, how many months of retroactive child support did we determine?
I determined retroactive child support from December 12th, 2020 to today, June 29th, 2021.
And what was that amount of retroactive child support?
Retroactive child support was $2,891 minus the $150 of direct payment. So the child support judgment is $2,741 as of June 29th, 2021, with a payout of $64 a month to begin July 1st.
Pass the witness.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Beebe, do you have any questions of Mr. Barrera?
No, ma'am.
All right.
mean,
Can
no,
we
sir, sorry.
can we excuse Mr. Barrera, Ms. Sharma?
Yes, Your Honor, we can.
All right, you're
Thank you, Your
excused,
Honor.
Mr. Barrera. All right,
Thank you.
now we can move on. So we got through the retroactive child support, we got through the child support, we got through the possession and access, we got through the establishment of the parent-child relationship. Anything further, Ms. Sharma?
Your Honor, the state would just like to ask that Mr. Joseph have court called to him and order as submitted.
All right, Ms. Beebe, you've signed this order, you've seen this default order and signed it, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you're asking the court to approve it?
Yes, sir.
All right, the court will approve the order submitted. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. May we be excused?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. All right. But it's ready. All right, Miss Beebe, you're excused. Miss Jeffries, are you handling the Garrett matter? The Garrett
Yes,
child?
Sean. Yes, Sean.
Okay, I need to pull it up. Hold on a minute.
Mhm.
Angela, are we doing your case?
I
Yeah,
believe,
I'm here.
I believe he's pulling up mine, Sade, first.
Okay. No, I just wanted to make sure.
All right, this is called number 2020-83148 in the interest of Geneva J. Renee Garrett. All parties and witnesses, please raise your right hands to be sworn. Where is Miss Garrett?
Ms. Garrett, could you please unmute yourself on the
Or I'm
phone?
sorry, Miss Chapman. Miss
Ms.
Chapman.
Chapman. I'm pressing *6, ma'am, so the judge can hear you. Ms. Chapman, if you can hear the court, please unmute yourself, ma'am, by pressing *6. So unmute yourself.
Let me just see if my party can unmute, because then we can oh, here she is. She identified herself.
I'm here.
Okay, just leave yourself unmuted, Ms. Chapman, please.
All right, this is called number 2020-83148 in the interest of Geneva J. Renee Garrett. All parties and witnesses, please raise your right hands to be sworn. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
I do.
All right, ma'am, please state your name and your relationship to the child.
My name is Jalecia Chapman. I'm the mother of the child.
Okay, and representing the state.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Angela Jeffries for the Office of the Attorney General.
Court will note that the non-custodial parent Dexter Lamont Garrett Jr. is not present. Mr. Garrett was served on March 10th. (2021) at 12:43 p.m. at 9003 Arcadian Forest Drive in Houston, Harris County, Texas. And he's not filed an answer. Is that correct, Miss Jeffries?
That's correct, Your Honor. He has not filed an answer.
And there's been no further notice, correct? This is no
There is
fault.
not, Your Honor.
No answer to default. Okay, we'll
Oh,
proceed
I'm
by
sorry.
default.
Let me correct that, Your Honor. There was further notice sent. There was further notice, and there's evidence of that further notice being sent, Your Honor.
By certified mail?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Maria, we got a copy of that?
It should be at the bottom of the order.
And he is not checked in?
He is not, Your Honor.
It's not in these papers that you gave me. Okay, Maria's going to print it out. Let's hold on a second.
All right.
Or let's proceed by default. Court will note that further notice that was given to Mr. Garrett by certified mail return receipt requested, which I will refer to as soon as I get a copy of it. Let's proceed
Yes,
by
Your Honor.
default. He is not checked in. Is that correct?
He is not, Your Honor.
Let's proceed by default.
Thank you. The state calls Natasha Bidu. Ms. Bidu, where are you employed, ma'am?
The Office of the Attorney General, Child Support Division,
All right. And what is your position there, ma'am?
Child Support Officer.
What is the nature of your responsibilities and duties as a child support officer?
To research, investigate wage information for the non-custodial parent and calculate guideline support.
All right. And have you received any special training to calculate child support and retroactive support in compliance with the Texas Family Code, ma'am?
I have.
All right. And have you calculated child support in this matter, ma'am?
Yes.
All right. For the gross wages for Mr. Dexter Lamont Garrett Jr., what did the gross wages come to, ma'am?
$2,293.85.
Okay. And what was the net resources that you calculated for Mr. Garrett?
$1,882.19.
And what percentage did you apply in this case, ma'am?
20%.
Okay. And what would be the recommended cash medical in this case, ma'am?
$103 per month.
Okay. And what did you calculate the child support per month to be in this case?
$376 per month.
Would that begin July 1st of 2021, ma'am?
Yes.
All right. Now, as far as retroactive support, what period of retroactive or dates did you use to calculate the retroactive support, ma'am?
December 29, 2016 up until today.
All right. And what did you calculate the retroactive amount to be, ma'am, in this case?
$19,448.
Right. And what is the recommended payout on that retroactive judgment?
$147 per month.
And that would begin July 1st of 2021, ma'am.
Yes.
I have nothing further for this witness, Your Honor. I pass the witness.
All right. The court, before we proceed any further, will notice that the non-custodial parent was given notice by certified mail that was in fact delivered at 5:13 p.m. on June 8, 2021 in Houston, Texas. Okay, Miss Chapman, do you have any questions for Miss Bidu?
No.
All right, Miss Jeffries, may we excuse Miss Bidu?
Yes, John. I believe she's going to testify at the next setting, but she's excused for this.
Okay, we're assuming that the date of separation or the date which the retroactive child support begins would be December 29th, 2016. I haven't heard any testimony as to where we got that figure, but let's go ahead and call Ms. Chapman.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state calls Jaleesa Renee Chapman. Ms. Chapman, you are the mother of Geneva J. Renee Garrett. Is that correct, ma'am?
Yes.
All right. And how old is Geneva?
9 years old.
And who do you allege is the father of your child, ma'am?
Dexter Garrett.
All right. And were you intimate with anyone else around the time that Geneva was conceived?
No.
Have you ever held doubt that anyone else was the father of your child other than Mr. Garrett?
No.
And were you married around the time that Geneva was conceived?
No.
Okay. And so based on that, are you asking this court to find that Mr. Dexter Lamont Garrett Jr. is the father of your child, ma'am?
Yes.
All right. Now, as far as co-parenting, do you believe that you can co-parent with Mr. Garrett?
Yes.
If the court ordered you two to make decisions regarding this child, that you two could work together to do that, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay. And you've asked this court to sign a default order stating that you and Mr. Garrett are appointed as joint managing conservators of this child?
Yes.
Do you currently live in Harris County, Ms. Chapman?
Yes.
To your knowledge, does Mr. Garrett also live in Harris County?
To my knowledge, yes.
All
And do
right.
you understand, Ms. Chapman, that you would be the joint managing conservator with the power to decide where the child lives?
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
All right, and you also understand with that geographical restriction, ma'am, that you will be geographically restricted to reside in Harris or contiguous counties, Ms. Chapman?
Yes.
Now, as far as visitation or possession and access, how have you and Mr. Garrett been doing visitation?
We alternate weekends during the school year, and then for the summer, we're doing 2 weeks apiece.
Okay, so you wouldn't have any issue with this court ordering overnight visitation in this case, is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, and are you okay with this court signing a standard possession order in this case?
Yes.
All right. Now, as far as the child support, you heard the child support officer testify that based on her findings, the child support would be $376. Is that correct, ma'am?
Yes.
All right. And do you have any private health insurance available for your child at this time, ma'am?
No.
Do you know if Mr. Garrett has any health or dental insurance available for your child at this time?
To my knowledge, no.
Do you know if Mr. Garrett has any other children under 18?
To my knowledge, no.
All right. Now, you are seeking retroactive or back child support in this case. Is that correct, ma'am?
Yes.
All right. Now, we did a period of December 29th of 2016 till today. Have you and Mr. Garrett lived together since December 29th of 2016, ma'am?
No.
All right. Has he had your child for an extended period of time since December 29th of 2016?
No.
All right. Has he given you any direct support for this child since December 29th of 2016?
Yes, roughly $200 to $250.
Okay, so that $19,448, that did include $150 that he might have given you. Is that correct, ma'am?
Yes.
All right, and you understand that we're asking the court to order Mr. Garrett to pay $147 on that judgment. Is that correct, ma'am?
Yes.
All right, and in court, cost of building this case, who you believe they should be billed against?
Dexter Garrett.
All right, and you've already signed this default order. Is that correct, ma'am?
Yes.
And you believe it to be in the best interest of your child?
Yes.
And you're asking this court to approve this order, ma'am?
Yes.
All right, I have nothing further for this witness, Your Honor. I'll pass the witness.
All right, the court will approve the order as submitted. Thank you very much. You're excused.
All right, Ms. Chapman, you may hang up. You can log back into the other Zoom if you have further questions for me.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Parker.
Yes, Your Honor, I'm sorry.
All right, and Ms. Dixon, please unmute yourself. And is she by telephone or?
Yes, Your Honor,
video?
she's by telephone. So go ahead and press *6, Ms. Dixon. I just sent you that email. Did you receive it, Natasha?
I'm here.
Okay.
Hello.
Yep,
Yes,
Ms.
ma'am.
Dixon. Just,
Yes, I'm here. Hello.
Yes, hold on, ma'am.
Okay. Okay.
All right, this is cause number 2020-50065 in the interest of Princeton McGowan. All parties and witnesses, please raise your right hands to be sworn. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Yes.
All right, ma'am, please state your name and your relationship to the child.
Francesca Dixon. I'm Princeton's mother.
All right, and representing the state.
Sharday Parker.
Okay, the court will note that the non-custodial parent is Roosevelt McGowan Jr. He's not present. He signed a reset order setting this matter for hearing, a Zoom hearing today.
Yes, Your Honor.
And for the record, has he appeared today?
Yes, Your Honor. He appeared, but he left before he left without permission, Your Honor.
Okay, so he signed a reset order for Zoom hearing today. He did appear earlier today and left on his own volition.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, then we'll proceed by default.
Your Honor, the state would like to call Francesca Dixon.
All right.
Miss Dixon, can you please state your full name for the record?
My name is Francesca Dixon.
Who is Princeton Zion McGowan?
That's my son.
What is his birth date?
It's July 21st, 2021.
How old is he?
He's 11 months.
Who is his father?
Roosevelt McGowan Jr.
And was a DNA test done in this case?
Yes, ma'am, it was.
And did that test confirm that Roosevelt McGowan was Princeton's father?
Yes, it was.
And Your Honor, the state's requesting that you admit the previously filed DNA testing order. You should be able to see it, Your Honor. Just let me know if you can or not.
Okay, hold on just a second. Court note that the DNA test report would indicate that the alleged father, Roosevelt McGowan Jr., is not excluded as the biological father of the tested child, Princeton McGowan, the child the subject of this suit. All right.
Okay.
Miss Dixon, when is the last time, Miss Dixon, are you requesting that this court establish a parent-child relationship between Princeton McGowan and Roosevelt McGowan?
When was the last time?
No, I said, are you requesting that this court establish a parent-child relationship between Princeton McGowan and Roosevelt McGowan?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, when was the last time Mr. McGowan has had any contact with Princeton?
Never.
And has he ever requested to visit with Princeton?
No, ma'am.
Has he ever seen Princeton in person?
No, ma'am.
And does he contact you regarding Princeton's general welfare?
No, ma'am.
Who makes the day-to-day decisions about Princeton?
I do.
And who takes him to doctors and dental appointments?
I do.
And in your experience, can Mr. McGowan put Princeton's welfare first when making parenting decisions?
No, ma'am, he does not.
Will it benefit the physical, psychological, and emotional needs of Princeton were Mr. McGowan to be appointed a joint managing conservator?
No, it will not benefit him.
And that's why you're requesting that you be appointed the managing conservator of the child and that he be appointed the possessory conservator of the child, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're also requesting that this court designate you as the primary managing conservator with exclusive right to designate the primary residence without regard to geographic restriction, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And if job opportunities or other opportunities came up that were outside of Harris or contiguous counties, you would like to be able to pursue those, correct?
Yes, ma'am. I definitely would.
And also, Mr. McGowan is in the military and he could be based anywhere throughout the world, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and when it relates to the possession order, you're requesting that Mr. McGowan be given supervised visitation through the Domestic Relations Office, correct?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
And why are you requesting that?
He tried to have me killed. He tried to have me rent out the road. I made a police report. There is a police report on it. There were plenty of other witnesses on the side of my car. They took the license plates. And to my knowledge, it was his dad's car that he was driving. And like I said, the witnesses also called 911. So it's probably multiple reports on it. But he tried to run me off the road while I was on my way home. It was 10:30 p.m. And I dropped my sister off, and he followed me out of the gate, proceeded to get behind me, followed me for about 15 minutes. Of course, I got scared. I was by myself, and it was dark. The driver pulled on the side of me, raised down the window, proceeded to get back behind me. And as I got on the Beltway, on Beltway 8, he proceeded to try to run me off the road until two more witnesses that were driving trucks actually had to follow us to make sure, you know, he wasn't going to run me off the road. Finally, dispatch caught up to me. I pulled over to a gas station. The witnesses also pulled over, and they made the police report as well.
Okay.
I have gotten multiple threats since
Okay.
I became pregnant with my son. Reason being is because Roosevelt has a fiance and another kid that I had no idea about. And when I became pregnant, he proceeded to tell me that he had a family after I became pregnant, and he told me that he wanted me to kill my son. I have text messages of that. And from that day of when I found out I was pregnant, December the 2nd of 2019, from that day on, I have been getting nasty messages from him that he did not want my son, he's not going to help me take care of him, and that I needed to abort him. And if I did not abort him, that I would be taking care of him by myself.
So has he ever expressed any interest to you in visiting the child?
No, ma'am. He told me he does not want to have visitations. He told me that as long as I receive child support, that child support is taking care of my son, so he don't need to visit him.
And has his fiance also contacted you in regards to the child in terms of visitation or anything like that?
Yes, ma'am, she has.
And what was that? What did that contact consist of?
She basically told me she basically played both roles. She tried to make it seem like, you know, like I was harassing her, but I have proof. I have cell phone records. She have called me multiple times. His mom, Roosevelt's mother and grandmother, have called me as well, threatening me, telling me that their son doesn't have to take care of my son. And they were saying that my son was not Roosevelt's because I was cheating on Roosevelt while he was in the Army, which is a lie. So, yeah, I asked for the DNA test because they kept basically saying that my son was not his. But he knew that my son was his all along because, you know, he cheated. But he didn't want to admit to it because he got caught. So when he got caught, that is when, you know, everything just went chaos.
Okay. And for the medical insurance, do you currently have private health or dental insurance available to you at a reasonable cost for Princeton?
No, ma'am, I do not.
And is that why you're requesting that Princeton be covered through Mr. McGowan's insurance with TRICARE?
Yes, ma'am, I am. And I was also told about the GI Bill the last time I came to court. We wasn't in front of the judge. I was speaking to another young lady, and I was told that, you know, all I had to do was request for Princeton to be on his TRICARE and his GI Bill, but I don't know how the GI Bill works.
Okay, ma'am. And you're requesting that insurance start July 1st of 2021, correct?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
And you're also requesting that Mr. McGowan be ordered to pay $587 per month in child support beginning on July 1st, 2021, correct?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
And since Princeton has been born, has Mr. McGowan provided you any type of financial support for Princeton?
No, ma'am, he has not. I text him. The thing about it is when I text him every time, he has an iPhone, so you can tell when the person reads your messages and just ignore you. I have texted him. I have proof of that. I've texted him about childcare. I pay $170 a week for my sons to go to childcare because I work Monday through Friday, and I work from 8 to 4:30, so I'm unable to, like if my mom is not off of work,
Okay,
then I
ma'am.
send
So
him to
the
day.
answer is no, he has not contributed anything. Is that
No,
correct?
yeah,
Okay.
no,
Thank
he's
you.
not.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, and you're requesting that this court take a retroactive child support judgment from the date of Princeton's birth, which is July 21st, 2020 through the present, which amounts to $6,987, which will be paid back at $85 per month beginning July 1st, 2021, correct?
Yes,
And you're also requesting that he be responsible for that Mr. McGowan be responsible for 50% of all uncovered healthcare expenses, correct?
yes.
And as it relates to having your address or phone number disclosed in this order, do you have any safety concerns with that?
Yes. I don't want him to have my address because
And
of what has happened.
and when you say what has happened, you mean him trying to run your car off the road and the threats that you testified to earlier, correct?
Yes,
And all that has happened within the last 2 years, correct?
yes,
And
the
you
threats,
believe that if he knows where you live or has your phone number, that he will continue to harass you or maybe bring harm to you or your child. Is that correct?
yes, sir.
Okay.
and you're also requesting that he be responsible for 50%. I'm sorry, that he be responsible for all court costs as billed, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you believe this is in the best interest of your child?
Yes,
And you're asking the court to grant this default judgment.
yes.
Your Honor, I have no further questions for this witness.
All right. Call your next witness.
Your Honor, the state calls Natasha Bidu.
Okay.
Ms. Bidu, where are you currently employed?
The Office of the Attorney General, Child Support Division.
And what is your position there?
I'm a child support officer.
And what are your responsibilities and duties as a child support officer?
So investigate wage information for the non-custodial parent and calculate guideline child support.
And have you received any special training to calculate child support in compliance with the Texas Family Code?
Yes,
Did you calculate child support and retroactive child support in this matter?
yes.
And what are your calculations?
Mr. McGowan's gross is $3,722 per month, and the child support amount is set based on 17.5%. Child support is $587 per month.
And
Retroactive judgment?
Yes.
Retroactive judgment is $6,987 per month with a payout of $85 per month.
Calculated from what date to what date?
Your Honor, it's going to be from July 21st, 2020 till today.
All right.
Your Honor, I have no further questions for this witness.
Ms. Dixon, do you have any questions of Ms. Bidu? Ms. Dixon,
Yes, sir.
do you have any questions of Ms. Bidu?
No, sir, I don't.
All right. The court will approve the order submitted. Thank you very much.